Okay, so welcome parents, guardian, and friends to the first New Parent Experience video series of 2018. We're honored and excited that your student has chosen Baylor for their education. My name is Gail Offringa, and I am the director of the Baylor Parents Network. The Baylor Parents Network is going to be your on-campus liaison over the next 4 years to help you help your student navigate their journey through Baylor. The New Parent Experience, or NPE, as you will hear, will provide you with a backstage tour of Baylor, of all things Baylor. What resources do we have? What activities can your student participate in? What kind of support is offered to help your student have a very successful Baylor journey as they go after their transformative education? Some of you may have already signed up for orientation. We just opened it up a little over a week ago. But if you haven't, today you are going to learn about orientation and line camp from Whitney Jones and Keen Tarbell. So why don't you tell them who you are?
Hello, my name is Whitney Jones and I serve as the Associate Director for Orientation in the Office of New Student Programs.
Hello, my name is Keen Tarbell. I'm the Associate Director in the Department of New Student Programs, most closely working with Baylor Line Camp.
And so we work together. And also, in addition to orientation in Baylor Line Camp, our office also hosts the Welcome Week Experience, which all new students are encouraged to attend once they have actually moved into their residence hall for the fall, and from there they will actually go into the Welcome Week Experience with other first-year students.
And where are we located right now?
We are located in East Village, which is primarily where, well, it's just our office here, and then there's also a dining hall, and you can actually see our office once you come to orientation because we'll spend a lot of our time in the Paul L. Foster Business Building.
Okay, that's fabulous. So I have a question. Prior to working here at Baylor, I worked and lived in Massachusetts. And so when my daughters chose to come to Baylor, they said, we have to go to orientation and we have to go to line camp. So first of all, why should my student bother to come to orientation? Can't they find everything online?
Good question. And so orientation is more than just us giving you information about the university. It is actually a way for you, one, to meet your academic advisor, and two, to actually set your schedule for the fall, upcoming fall semester. And so that is obviously one thing that we want to make sure that all our students are able to do, is able to get that face time with their academic advisor. But in addition to that, before you even get there, we want to prepare you for what's to come at your next 4 years here at Baylor. And so we want to introduce our students to the rich history and traditions of our community. We also want our students to also feel a part of the Baylor experience. And we do this by introducing our students to the rich resources and faculty and staff members that we have here on our campus that's going to journey with you throughout the next 4 years here at Baylor. We also want to make sure that you are fully aware of the financial commitment by coming to our university and what that means for you. We also want to make sure that you have point people, specific point people that you could put a name and put a face with, who you can contact when you are in need, or when you just want to make that additional connection and make Baylor more of your community.
Okay. Oh, that's great. Well, what is the parents' role then at orientation if we come, and do we have to come?
Yeah, and so there is no requirement for parents and families to attend orientation with their students, but we highly encourage our parents to come because this is also a new transition for our parents and families just as much as it is for our students. And we know that if our students feel, when their families come with them, we know that this is a little bit smoother transition for our students, and we want to make sure that our parents and families feel a part of our community too, because this is your home for the next 4 years as well. And so we want our parents to feel a part of the Baylor community just as much as we want our students to feel a part of the Baylor community. And we do have things for parents at orientation as well, and you would travel through the orientation experience primarily with your student, but there will be some times throughout the 2-day session that you will meet just as parents.
Well, and as a parent here, would I get to come into the academic advising session? Because I'm very concerned that my student is not going to be able to sign up for classes properly.
Yes, I will say your student will be able able to sign up for classes properly with or without a parent or guardian, but I do think that having that parental or family support throughout the process does help our students. But if a parent or family member cannot join us, I do think your student, again, we build the day up, we build the experience up to put our students in the best position to be able to have great conversations with their academic advisors without the parent. But yes, a parent can attend the advising session with their student.
Okay, and where does the student stay during orientation and or line camp, and where do I stay during orientation and or line camp?
So families and students will have to make their own housing accommodations through the local hotels here in the Waco area. And I think the Parents Network could be a great resource if you are in need of finding a great housing option for you and your student. And I'll let Keen answer for line camp because we have kind of two different answers there.
Absolutely. I would be mindful that the orientation session on day one begins with check-in between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. So depending on how far you're traveling, you may want to make arrangements for that night before. It might be easier and more convenient as you're coming into town and being part of orientation that morning. But for line camp, housing is part of the experience and part is provided. And so if a student is attending a combination session, coming to orientation on the end of day 2 after they've been advised and registered for classes, they'll have an opportunity to check in for Baylor Line Camp. And they'll be staying on campus during Baylor Line Camp for our on-campus camps.
Okay, so as a parent, the parent could technically fly home then and have their student fly home alone afterwards if we chose to. The parent doesn't have to stay for those 2 days of line camp. Is that correct?
That's right.
Okay. And I can add too that as the Baylor Parents Network, if your student needs to travel to orientation by themselves, if you're unable to attend, we do have a hotel in the area that is, provided that your student is 18 years old, has agreed to shuttle your students back and forth to Baylor for those first 2 days of orientation. So if you need information on that, you can contact our office. Okay, and Whitney, what are some of the, before we get on to line camp, what are some of the questions that you commonly get from parents in addition to anything that we've talked about right now?
I will first say that every orientation session is still available, and so if you have not signed up, that's totally fine. We still have room for our students to come, and we will accommodate them in that capacity. Also, just letting our parents and families know that orientation may seem like an overwhelming experience when you get here because there is a lot of information that we're wanting to provide you, but just know that this is not the end of the information giving. You will also have the Parents Network. You will also have different avenues that we're going to provide you with on how to receive information you need in order to help and empower your student to be successful here at their time at Baylor. Your student will be transitioned over into great care if that is any concern that you may have as a parent, because our jobs here at Baylor is to make this a very unique experience with the community that we really try to foster for our new students here at Baylor.
Very good. Okay, very good. So now, Keen.
Mm-hmm.
I know, again, I was up in Massachusetts when my daughters decided to come here, and I thought, what on earth is line camp? I had no clue.
It is incredible. It's a great experience for new students. We like to say that it's an opportunity to build relationships while experiencing Baylor. And it is an extended orientation program that continues on after students have gotten their classes and they can begin to see themselves here at Baylor. It's an opportunity for them to come to campus in our on-campus variety of camps and meet other students, and really just an opportunity to learn the traditions of the university and kind of journey together through a week of experiences that are designed to really bring them together and get them excited about being a Baylor Bear.
And how long is line camp?
So line camp is technically 3.5 days, 3 nights, and that experience, as I mentioned earlier, they're staying on campus. They're part of a small group during that week, and our leaders are equipped and trained to come alongside them for the week. We do everything from team building activities to learning the chants and cheers and traditions of the university. We have some curriculum pieces that we think are really important or unique to Baylor. We talk about friendship and story and calling, and so we want students really to come and share a little bit about their story, who they are, where they've been, why they came to Baylor, and kind of their hopes and dreams for their experience here as they learn to get to know each other and build meaningful relationships with each other.
I've heard that some students will actually make their friends that they have for life at Line Camp. Not all students, but some students do experience that.
We often hear students have very significant friendship experiences at camp, and we love that. And I've been a part of a few weddings that have all started here at Line Camp as well. So, not that I'm putting that pressure on students at all, not that I'm trying to create that experience, but it's a significant experience for our students as they come together and get to know each other and do all the things.
Well, and rumor has it, I don't know if this is true, but that students have to give up their cell phones during Line Camp. Is that true?
Great question, Gail. Absolutely. So part of the unique hope for us is that students will be fully present, and we have learned from the past 14 years that we've done Line Camp that sometimes the cell phone can be a distraction, and so we do collect cell phones at check-in. We do have a camp director that has a cell phone who journeys with them and is available 24 hours the whole time at camp. So if a parent was needing to get a hold of someone, they'll receive that information prior to camp so they know how to reach out to someone. But we take it away because the hope is that they will build meaningful relationships and will really be all in, and we know that that can be a distraction.
Well, and what if my student is not with their high school friends that are also coming to Baylor and they don't know anyone?
That may be actually our preference, honestly. And the reason I say that is because it is an opportunity for you to meet new people and for the student to meet new people. And so they may come, it may be great for carpooling, and we recommend if they want to come together to camp, but there's a really good chance they'll be in a different small group and they probably won't be rooming together. And they'll get to see each other among the activities, particularly during meal times and things like that. But the reality is we want them to meet new people and expand their friendship circle, I guess, in a lot of ways. So it's an opportunity as opposed to a distraction.
Well, and I will add too, as the Parents Network director here, we get calls from parents all the time that their students aren't connecting, or what should they do? They haven't made a lot of friends. And so I strongly urge you parents to start talking to your students about this is the time in your life where you need to step out, whether you're natural at doing that or not, but you need to step out and meet new people and talk to new people and introduce yourself to new people and try new things and experience new things, because that's really what is going to enhance your experience here at Baylor, is this whole new world that you have no idea exists. So I strongly recommend that you start talking to your students about that now. But I have another question on Line Camp. So I'm assuming that in the end, what do they get for participating in Line Camp? What's the reward at the end of the tunnel, so to speak?
Sure. Excellent question. I think I would add on to your last
Sure, please do.
Little helpful advice. I think camp can sometimes feel like a place for extroverts, an extrovert's dream, and there are a lot of high energy activities at camp, but I will tell you that we are really intentional about designing experiences for students who may be a little less extroverted and who are actually introverted. And there's an opportunity to really engage in reflection and meaning making and understanding on your own. And so there's a blend of challenge and support throughout the experience, and so we want students to get to know each other, but it's not all the time high energy. Sometimes there's times to slow down and really think about your Baylor experience and what you want out of it.
Perfect.
I think the richness of that is if you come in and have a really open mind, that you will walk away with new friends. You will walk away with an experience and memories that we think will be really significant and will help you feel equipped and ready to tackle things that may come up in the fall. I like to think we build up resilience during camp in some ways, that you see names and you see faces and you meet people along the way that can come along your journey if something is a challenge along the way. But we also have a lot of cool swag that comes along with it, and so there's a unique opportunity. We go to Independence, which is not really a secret anymore, but kind of comes out of nowhere, I think, for our students sometimes. We visit our old campus and there's a significant, meaningful jersey ceremony, and so the Baylor Line jersey that Gail mentioned earlier, they receive that, and it's a ceremonial moment where people realize, our students our students are welcomed into the Baylor line at that moment, and it becomes something that they can own as they continue their journey.
Well, what does being part of the Baylor line even mean?
Well, you're pulling out tough questions, Gail. Baylor Line is really just a sweet way for our university to celebrate those who have come before you and those who will go after you. It's becoming part of a lineage or a heritage of what we think is special, a tradition that is that has people who have gone before you and people who will go after you, and you add your story to the story of Baylor and create kind of a richness and a beauty. And it really is about living a story that we think uplifts and encourages people and helps them discover who they are and who God's called them to be, and help them think about how they might fling their green and gold afar as they go above and beyond.
That's fantastic. I thought it was connected to running the Baylor line. That's all. How do you like that?
And the jersey that they receive at Baylor Line Camp is the jersey that they will put on when they do run that line, and that's a significant moment in the new student experience in the fall at the first football game. Classmates from the class of 2022 will come together and run, and so it is a symbolic thing as well. But it's more than that. It's a special uniqueness of being a Baylor Bear. And so also, if your student is unable to come to Baylor Line Camp, it may be helpful to note that they are still able to order a Baylor Line jersey and be part of running the Baylor Line in the fall. And information about that can be found on the website.
Okay, they just type in Baylor line jersey or something.
Exactly.
Correct, okay. And for parents, I tell all parents, you'll probably hear this if you're coming to orientation, to please try to, if at all possible, attend a football game here while your student is a freshman and running the Baylor line. It is a phenomenon, number one, that every time I see it, it never ceases to amaze me, and it's just really fun. If you can't make it here, definitely you'll catch it on TV at some point. We do know parents who actually see their student running that Baylor line, so it's really a neat thing. And does anybody else in the country do this? Running the Baylor line, running the line?
I'm not aware of it. I think it's a pretty cool tradition that is uniquely Baylor's, and that we've been able to continue and been grandfathered in, because as you can imagine, 3,000 students running just minutes before the game can be a coordinated and wonderful, chaotic, awesome spirited moment. So.
Right.
That's so funny. Is there anything else that you guys can think of that maybe our parents need to know before we wrap up our video today?
Yes, one more thing. Your student will receive communication from our department about orientation a month out and 2 weeks out to your orientation date. Just make sure that your student is checking their Go Baylor account regularly and checking their email for this communication. Also, we will release our actual orientation schedule via our guidebook, which is a mobile app. I do encourage you to download that app yourself to go over the schedule prior to you arriving at orientation, so that you can filter through some of the different sessions and just take a look at things, as well as the preview book that we have on our website. And that really is a all-encompassing need to know before orientation and even beyond. And so save that link, save that preview book, because you can utilize some of the information in it beyond the orientation experience, maybe before your student come to line camp.
Keen, do you have anything else to add?
I think I would briefly add that our combination sessions have orientation and Baylor Line Camp together are near capacity at this point. There are a few spaces still available, but there are plenty of spaces available in Baylor Line Camp in July. And if you're looking for a way to get into the Baylor Line Camp experience, we don't have spaces for everyone, unfortunately. But it is first come, first served, so we really encourage folks to look at that. But there are plenty of spaces in July, and if you have any questions about the standby list and how it works, feel free to give our office a call, and we'll walk you through that.
That's great. Well, I will add too, at orientation, after day one of orientation, we'll have a parents' dinner, a sit-down dinner, where you will learn more about what the Baylor Parents Network does and how we can help assist you over time. And people love to just finally sit down on a hot day and have a good dinner. So look for that when you come to visit if you're attending with your students. And then also look for when you come to orientation with your student, Baylor Parents Network will provide you with a guidebook that will kind of give you some of the resources in an abbreviated way for those of us who don't like to search through websites and try to figure out how you can talk to your student about certain things. So we will have that for you at orientation. And also look for us on Facebook and Instagram at Baylor Parents Network. So we thank you, Whitney and Keene, today for all of your information. Please reach out to either of our offices if you have any additional questions, and we thank you for joining us.